So what's happening YouTube, the world and everyone else? It's me again, Courtney, doing my predictions, my exclusive predictions for the painpalace.com. This time it's for UFC 106, Griffin versus, Ortiz versus Griffin 2, which is going to take place on Saturday the 21st of November at the Mandalay Center, Mandalay Bay Events Center. First fight on the card is Tito Ortiz versus Griffin. It was supposed to be Mark Coleman on Ortiz versus Mark Coleman, but I'm glad Coleman dropped out because I didn't want to see him fight Ortiz, to be honest. Ortiz, 6'2", he's got a 15-6 or 16-6 record, which depending on which side you look on. This guy was basically brought up in the UFC. He hasn't fought anywhere else except the UFC. He's got great cardio, vicious ground and pound, but he's been off for over a year with injury and contract disputes with the UFC. He's come back now. He says he's fully fit. His back's sorted. His last fight was in May 2008. That was against Machida, which he lost by decision. Machida actually took him down in that fight, which was quite funny. But yeah, Ortiz is a decent fighter. Very big head as well. Some people like him, some people don't like him. But the thing is, the guy sells tickets. He's got a mouth to go with that big head of his. But I like him, that's the thing. And he's fighting Forrest Griffin, who's got a 16-6 record, who's 6'3", another big light heavyweight. He's a tough guy, can take a beating. But in his last fight, because he got his ass handed to him by Anderson Silva. Silva put the bitch slap on him. Yeah, it was strange. I don't know what happened in that fight to him. I didn't think he was going to go down like that. He likes his leg kicks. I just asked Quinton Rampage Jackson about that one. Very, very, very tough guy. Can take a beating. And he's on a 2-fight losing streak at the moment as well. His last fight he lost against Anderson Silva. The fight before that he lost to Rashad Evans. But yeah, and he's ranked 5th in the world by Sherdog. So it's a good fight for Ortiz. But for this fight, I'm going to pick the underdog, which has got to be Ortiz, coming back after a year. I'm picking him to win via decision or via ground and pound. It's going to be an interesting fight. Next fight on the card is Josh Koscheck versus Anthony Johnson. Josh Koscheck is has a 13-4 record. He's 5'10". He's got good cardio. His wrestling is really good. His takedowns are sweet. And his stand-up's improving as well. His last fight he beat Franchik by a TKO. He battered Franchik. And the only losses really have come to top 10 fighters. He's ranked 5th in the world, and his losses only come to top 10 fighters. And he's fighting one hell of a guy in Anthony Johnson, one big welterweight. Anthony Johnson's 6'2". He's got a 8-2 record. Hits hard, very hard. His stand-up's sick. Not too sure. His wrestling's not really been tested yet, but it will be tested against Koscheck. Because if I was Koscheck, I wouldn't be standing with him. I'd use my hands and my feet to set up the takedown. I would not be going in the striking match with Anthony Johnson. But Anthony Johnson cutting 50 pounds is got to affect you somehow. So I think it's going to affect his cardio. So later in the rounds, the longer it goes on, I think Koscheck's going to have more of an advantage, and I think he'll win. Yeah, but I think Koscheck will win. I'm not sure how, but I think he will win. Yeah, so that I'm picking Koscheck for that fight. Next fight on the card is Antonio Rogerio Nogueira versus Lewis Kane. I'm glad to see little Nog in the UFC finally. He's got a 17-3 record. A very good boxer. He's a better boxer than Rodrigo Nogueira, and he actually moves as well. He doesn't use his head as a punching bag as much. But yeah, he's on a 5-fight win streak at the minute. He last fought in Jungle Fight. He won that fight by a triangle. The fight before that, he won via TKO, and that was in Affliction against Vladimir Mashenko. But yeah, he's a really good fighter. He's got good subs as well. And he's fighting Lewis Kane, who's got a 10-1 record. The one loss that he's got is a disqualification against James Irving. He's on a 3-fight win streak at the moment. He's a really good stand-up. But couldn't put away Steve Cantwell in his last fight, but he won by unanimous decision. But for this fight, I'm going to pick Nogueira, especially Little Nogueira. I think he will outbox him, and then if he wants to take it down to the floor, he will do that and put on some sort of submission. Yeah, but I'm going to pick Rogerio Nogueira to win that fight. Next fight on the card, not sure which one it is actually. I think it might be Amir Sadala versus Phil Baroni. Amir Sadala is the winner of the Ultimate Fighter Series. Hasn't fought, well, he has fought, sorry. His last fight was against Johnny Hendricks, and he lost via KO. It was a bit of a dodgy call, but he's got a 1-1 record. Before that, he was injured for ages, a very long time. But now he's back at welterweight instead of middleweight, and he's fighting the biggest mouth probably in MMA, or one of the biggest mouths. He rivals Ortiz with his big mouth and his chatter. He's fighting Phil Baroni, who's got a 13-11 record. Good KO power, decent wrestling as well. And he's been fighting all over the world, just taking fights here, there and everywhere. But the trouble is with Baroni, the longer the fight goes on, again, he hasn't got the cardio. But Amir Sadala is such a, he's like a young up and comer. It should be experience versus new, you know. But anyway, I think that for this fight, I'm going to pick Amir Sadala. I think Amir Sadala is going to catch him in some sort of submission. So I think Baroni is going to swing for the fences as usual. But I think even his recent fights over here in England, I've seen him fight. He's knocked guys out, but I think he was going to get caught anyway by Sadala somehow. But anyway, I'm picking Amir Sadala for that fight. Next fight on the card is Dustin Hazlett versus Cairo Parisian. Dustin Hazlett, the submission magician, McLovin or whatever you want to call him. He's got a 12-4 record, 6'1". He's got some sick submissions. Most of his wins come via submissions in the UFC. The one against Josh Burton was sweet. The one against Tandem McGorry, nearly took his arm home with him. But I think he's been injured as well, so he hasn't fought recently. But he's fighting Cairo Parisian. He's an 18-5 record. His last fight was against Dong Hong Kim. But it was ruled a no contest because Parisian had some sort of painkillers in his body anyway. He's got sick judo throws. His stand-up's okay as well, but he tends to fade as well. His last fight, really weird. He kept spitting out his mouth guard and he looked tired. But I don't think he's there mentally. I think he's a bit, what is it? Mental midget, I think he is. But he's had problems with panic attacks and whatever. But I think he isn't there mentally. So I'm going to pick Dustin Hazlett to win via submission. Some sick submission, I don't know how. But anyway, those were my picks. Yes, my picks is my opinion. Anyway, you go to the painpalace.com. Check out mixedmartialmarketing.com as well. Follow me on Twitter. That's it. Peace.